Big night for Hollywood Brown, big night for Patrick Mahomes, big night for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Huge night.
From 2-3 to 3-3, taking down the team that had seemed to be the best in football for last night. You and I both believed in the Lions.
Right. Injury bug got them. That was a big thing that we knew going into the game that I probably should have even taken into account more with the secondary and the issues they had there, right? But we'll see where they go from here. They're still really good. We know that. They're kind of just dealing with something right now that the Chiefs were dealing with a few weeks ago with Xavier Worthy, and now Rashee Rice is getting close to coming back, and a few other injuries they had on the football team.
He's back
now, right. So watch out. That's what I think the big thing last night was. I mean, it's just 3 games in a row where, okay, the Chiefs look like they're on the right track. I know they lost the game to Jacksonville, but there were some positive signs there by the offense. Here again last night, I continue to be a believer that the Chiefs are in an era or a year right now where they're kind of transitioning from the dominant defensive team, and they're transitioning back over to Patrick Mahomes and the offense going, no, we need you to score 30 on certain nights now. Hey, we can't win games 17 to 20 to 17, 17 to 14. So it's cool to see. And they're unbelievable with just the answering of the bell, whatever, rising up to the challenge. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, they back down from no one.
I was hoping you'd mix those up.
I was thinking I was as I was saying it.
It was just surprising because we've seen the Lions get better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
And there's this ever-growing cluster of teams that we're not sure who really is good.
Right.
And where the Chiefs are now, if they can stack, they have the Raiders. They should be able to beat the Raiders. The Bills are looming.
Yeah.
But if they can start stacking some wins, then they'll be a factor. They'll be a force. And I don't know who the best team is in the AFC right now. The Bills do not have an easy task tonight in Atlanta because you never know which Falcons team is going to show up.
Right. And I think they match up well with them. Right.
And they've had extra time to prepare for this game against Buffalo. So in the AFC, it's a jumble. In the NFC, it's all of a sudden a jumble now that the Lions have lost their second game. The Eagles have lost 2 in a row. The Bucs are looking good. We're going to talk about their game today. But I was just surprised because it felt like the Lions were slipping into a groove, and this was a great opportunity for them to really establish themselves and separate from, although they've got the Buccaneers with 1 loss and they play them next week. That game next week suddenly takes on a little bit more now that the Lions are going to be feeling a little more anxious and urgent to not lose 2 in a row. They've matched their losses. It took 6 weeks, but they've matched their total losses for last season. They had the 15-2 season, and now here they are at 4-2. 1 more loss, and it's technically a worse year than last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, last year was a special year. It's hard to emulate that.
But didn't it feel like they were getting there again?
Well, it did, totally. I was just going to go there. I mean, they were on a trending upwards big time the last few weeks. We kept talking about, oh my gosh, their offense, how physical they are, running the football, the defense, physical, creative, does a lot of good stuff on that side of the ball. But within all of that and trending upward and everything you say there, They met a team that's, championship merit, heart of the champion, whatever phrase you want to say, that was also desperate in the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think you saw that. And I think you saw right from the get-go that the Chiefs were going to be aggressive and they were going to take the fight to the Detroit Lions. They weren't going to back down. They were willing to go for it, be aggressive on 4th downs. And the one thing I'm always so impressed with the Chiefs is their physicality. I mean, we know the Lions to be one of the most physical teams in football. The Chiefs hang right in there, push them around a little bit last night as well. But I think all of that, and then their great leader at quarterback, he just makes sure they're all on their P's and Q's in a week like last week, and they went out and probably had their best showing of the year, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
And defense wasn't bad either.
No, it was not.
To hold the Lions to under 98 or under 100 rushing yards, they had 98.
Right.
They weren't under 98. They were at 98. No touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs, the touchdown machine.
Under
touchdown in 35 or 36
offense.
games.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff only had 203 passing yards. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 catches, only 45 yards. They did a nice job. And Chris Jones played like a guy who took to heart the criticism he got for loafing. I feel like loafing is one of the worst labels you can apply to a player, but it is wholly deserved when it's applied. You never hear someone accuse a guy of loafing when he wasn't loafing. And that word just hits. And when you hear a guy like Coach Dungy say the word loaf about a guy, like, man, he really was. And he knew he was, and he admitted he was, but he seemed to have a little more fire last night. And
Definitely.
they probably used that to send a message to everyone. It's like, who do you want to be? Who are you going to be? Are you champions or you're not champions? And last night they played like the team that we're used to seeing.
Well, they played like a team like I think you were talking about a few minutes ago where you go, hey, the AFC's up for grabs. Everybody's still kind of getting their feet underneath them and trying to figure out what they are as a complete football team. And when we talk about this, September, early October, this day and age with training camps and OTAs and all the rules and things not being the same, teams maybe aren't as strong or hitting on all cylinders in the first 2 weeks of October like they might have been 10 years ago that we're used to and accustomed to. But we're seeing here now that the Chiefs are capable of playing, some big-time football. And the offensive side especially, where I think it's starting to get going, where they're running the ball a little bit. Isaiah Pacheco's looking like himself again. And then, Mahomes throwing the ball great, healthy at receiver, so they can make plays there. They found mismatches, I think, with the banged-up Lions secondary. And then what they're amazing, too, is they just know what they need to do for the game. So they knew they were playing the Lions. They knew, the Lions offense could be scary, so we better be extra aggressive on the offensive side of the ball ourselves because we're going to have to help out the defense. And the defense was shaky early on, but then made adjustments. Looked like they played maybe more conservative coverages than we've ever seen the Chiefs play because it's hard to play like blitz. We're going to play man-to-man against the Detroit Lions. They have so many cool plays and concepts and schemes, let alone their players are amazing. On top of that, it felt like Spags changed up a little bit of what he normally does on top of that. So, big win for them. And I still think, I would have said 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I'm a little worried about the Chiefs. Now I'm sitting here going, no. The way the Chiefs are playing right now, and I know it's not perfect, and with Rashee Rice coming back and the state of the AFC like we're talking about, you go, man, they got the potential here in the next few weeks for us to again go, I think, are they one of the best teams in the AFC?
Well, and the other thing that's encouraging for the Chiefs, who have been to 3 straight Super Bowls, who have never had a season under Patrick Mahomes as starting quarterback worse than losing in overtime of the AFC Championship. That's his floor. He's never done worse than make it to the AFC Championship and lose in overtime. When you look at the AFC and how jumbled it is, and you look at the NFC, all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about getting your ass kicked by the Eagles in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Well, maybe
like
not.
You look,
right
like,
now.
Like, hey,
not
maybe
the way it looks.
Maybe we won't be down whatever it was.
Yeah.
Before they scored a couple of garbage time touchdowns
right.
to make the final score look better. What was it, 40-6?
I mean,
before they finally woke up.
40-6. I think you're right.
And hey, we beat the Lions. We can do that. And hey, if the Buccaneers are the team, then hey, a little chance at getting back at the Buccaneers for what happened 5 years ago. So I just feel like that cloud, because like, why do we want to get right to the summit when we know we're going to get smacked down? I think that's a bag that you need to find a way to put down early in the season. Losing to the Eagles didn't help, but I think now you look at this, we're 6 weeks in, pending a couple of games tonight, and the clouds are parting, and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it looks like they're rounding into shape, and the one thing there is just they got leaders that are going to keep their foot on the gas pedal. And I think that's what you like there about the Kansas City Chiefs. But I was just, all in all impressed with the attitude and the aggressiveness, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And it might not even show totally on the stats and the points. But, I mean, the first half of the football game, it was what? I mean, the first drive was long touchdown drive. Then it was long touchdown drive that we got stopped on a 4th down for both teams. This is kind of how it went. Then it was long field goal drive. We go in at 13-10. And this is where Kansas City is always awesome, too, is they go 13-10, score at the end of the half, and then they get the double up, right? The old New England Patriots double up, and also make adjustments in the second half. Like that to me is what I was kind of referring to a second ago. Spagnuolo always seems to make the right adjustments or keep a few defenses in his pocket for the second half to go, wait, I showed him this in the first half, but I didn't quite show him this and this, and I'm going to break this out and see how they react. And, like I said, I thought he took a different approach, and it's kind of stymied. It stymied the Detroit Lions to a point like you talked about a few minutes ago. We hadn't seen them look like that since week 1, where all of a sudden it was, 3 and out, 6 and out. Whoa, they can't stay on the field against this Kansas City defense, and slowly but surely the Chiefs wore them down.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.